This video is sort of a response to Cowboy, who watches some of my videos, and it's the drugging of America and drugging our kids, and how our government is taking our children away. And I've said it lots of times before that a great deal of what's causing a lot of harm is Christianity. And it's no offense to Christians, but you just got to sort of look at what your behaviors are and how much harm it is. And while you think what you are doing is right, and while you have this big need to push your opinions on other people, you aren't seeing that your good intentions are actually causing a lot of harm. And just sort of reflect, who was it that took Native children away and tried to indoctrinate, tried to brainwash Native people into believing in Christianity? What was so wrong with Native ways? They were very in tune with nature. They were giving back instead of taking. And if this is so wrong, if this needed to be changed, what did they need to be changed into? Something clearly the opposite, which means don't put something back into your society. Don't be responsible. Don't be accountable. I mean, you got to see what the Christian belief is, and ultimately, this is what they believe in: is that you don't have to be connected to the planet. You don't have to be responsible. You don't have to be accountable. And while you believe you are, why are you friggin' starting these schools that enslaved and tortured Native people back in history? And you're not seeing you do the same thing now, because a lot of these beliefs, they hold their jobs, and their religious beliefs are definitely influencing the jobs that they have. And I was a foster mother, and a lot of these people were Christian people that thought that they were doing good things for kids. Now, the kid that I was a foster mom to happened to be a friend of my son, whose mother was giving him up permanently at the age of 13. If that kid's mind wasn't completely fucked up from the experiences he had for 13 years, but the kid wanted to live with us, and the government didn't want me to be a foster mom. So I had to literally fight for the right to be his mom, because they didn't think that I could do the job, even though I had four kids and they're well behaved, and I was very successful in what I was doing. But for some reason, they didn't want me to. So I had to legally go into court and fight for the right to be this kid's foster mom. He didn't have a right to say. So I ended up winning and ended up being a treatment foster mother. And that was the only way that I could be a foster parent to him, which meant that I had these psychology people come into my house every freaking week for meetings. And once a month there was another meeting. And like, there were just so full of these meetings. And I had to write reports all the time. And what I noticed is any of these reports that I was writing couldn't be the truth. They had to manipulate the truth to make challenges look good. Not face the reality of what the kid was dealing with, not face the reality of what this kid actually needs. It was all, everything's fine, everything's good, there are no problems here. And it's like, what a pile of crap. Obviously there was more help needed. Obviously there were some things that needed to change, but they did not want the government to see it. They did not want the legal systems to see any of the problems, any of the causes that this child was dealing with. So, and when this kid got worse, and he was reaching an anniversary of some hell that he was dealing with, he started collecting knives. He was stealing knives. I mean, and these were like big, big knives, and he was hiding them all over the house. My intuition, thank God, I was always listening to my intuition, and it's pretty friggin' strong. But I kind of, this one time when it was getting really bad, I kind of looked under his pillows and under his sheets and under his blanket and found a ton of knives. And at that particular time, he was like, understand, he was friends with my kids. And at that particular time, he was talking about killing my kids. And he was much smaller than my kids. And for some reason, he didn't feel intimidated at all. He knew without a doubt that he was stronger than all of my kids. And he was talking about killing them. And so I had taken these knives away from him, and he didn't know it. And something at it was about 2:30 at night. Something woke me from a completely deep sleep. And it's like, this is how your intuition can work on, for you. But something woke me up, and I knew I was in total fear. I knew I had to protect my kids. And the first thing I went for is to check his alarm clock. And sure enough, his alarm clock was set for like 3 o'clock in the morning. So he was arranging to set himself up to wake up when everybody else was sleeping, and obviously get out all the knives that he had hidden in the house, and was planning on killing my kids. And then when it got to be that bad, and I seen that the government didn't want to offer this kid any help, and this was treatment foster care. The government, you taxpayers, are putting an awful lot of money to help these kids out, but the government doesn't want money being spent on this. The government is putting it in the pockets of these guys running these organizations that are claiming to help kids, and they're not. And not actually giving this money towards the kids. It's going to, people profiting from writing these friggin' documents that are nothing but liars. Anyways, when I said, you know what, this is too dangerous for my kids. There's no way I'm going to put my kids in this kind of danger. And this stupid idiot, this guy that was controlling, I mean, he's trying to tell me how people get manipulated all the time. So it's like, okay, he gave me the rules of the game he plays, and he says, you know what, the person who speaks the first is the one that loses every argument. So he comes into my house, puts himself in the power position at the table, and sits there and says nothing. So clearly he wanted me to be the one that says something first. So I sat there, and it's like, I ain't saying a word. I'm going to let you say the first word. And then all that he was trying to do is intimidate me and tell me, you'll never be a foster mom again. I am going to spread so many rumors about you that you are going to be the worst thing on this planet by the time I get through with you, that it's just all in your head. There's nothing wrong with this kid. All kids play with knives, and it's just your imagination, and you're doing more harm to this kid by, making him go from one home to another. And it's like, you're not offering me the help that I need. This kid obviously has some traumatic things that are going on, and your treatment foster, you should be offering more help, not just saying there is no problem, there is no problem, and wait for, the problem to just appear. So the guy that's running his friggin' organization takes him on as a foster kid. And in a very short period of time, he got rid of the kid too. And, so obviously, he didn't find it safe in his own house for his own kids, and he was doing exactly the same thing that I did. And where did the system fail? We refuse to look at the needs of our children. We put them through friggin' hell. Then we keep saying with our government money that there is no problem, there is no problem, to the point where this kid is getting no help, that rumor has it he ended up going into jail. So this is how our criminals are being created. We put our kids through torture, we teach them how not to care, and then when they learn how not to care, they go and do that back to other people. So we see this even in our school systems, that when they want to drug kids, it's, block the problem as much as possible. And they're not seeing that kids are getting a lot smarter, and you know that their attention span is shorter. Why? Because they're processing information much faster. We need a different atmosphere for our children to live. We need information to come at them a little bit more fast so that they can handle it. If it comes at them too slow, they can't pay attention to that. They're not even talking about things that kids are interested in, and kids are starting to see our societies are completely fucked up. So that's why our school systems are, taking the rights away from parents. They want to drug you so that you can just not evolve and unfold your full potential. I seen it with my own kids, didn't buy into it. That's why I'm kind of against the school system. That's why my kids excel, because they were taught how to use their brains outside of the school system. Peace out.